Hey everyone, I'm Christina Wald and this is Amy Bogard, and we are
Oh,
doing our. When was the last sketch wagon we did? It was a couple months ago. Some of it's
yeah,
dicey because we travel so much, and we're going to talk
right.
about
Life,
travel
life
sketching.
has a way of intervening. So,
Yes, yes. So welcome, Amy, and welcome everybody that might be listening to us. And Amy, tell us about Taos. When did you get back?
got back a couple weeks ago and like came home, unpacked, and immediately began packing again because I'm gonna be headed north and visiting some family and doing some stuff that has nothing to do with work, which is great. Um, but yeah, it was great. We had a full class, and it was as usual, just the most amazing group of people, and it just renewed my faith in this work that we do, like spreading kind of the good word of you know
Yes, exactly.
getting a pencil or brush into your hand and being more creative. And the more I think about it and read about it, I think that what we do is something that will be kind of the resistance toward AI. I think it's
Agreed,
human.
agreed.
Yeah, I think there's more and more and more being written about all that, and I'm fascinated by it. And like we need to keep our humanity, and this is a beautiful, fun way to do it. I don't know about you, Christina, but when I'm out sketching, either with a class or just on my own or whatever, I meet the best people. Like it's just
Agreed, yes.
pathway to like the nicest people. It's great.
I
So
agree.
yeah, house was good. Yeah.
And actually, when I was in Asheville, there were several people there that had been on your Taos and Guatemala
I know. What
workshops,
a small
and
world.
Ireland. Sorry, and
Um,
all three of them. And so,
yes.
I mean, obviously, it's the that's the group of people that are interested in this sort of thing. And I think that it is something very. I mean, we've always said before that the sketching is sort of the
Almost
not
secondary.
the most important thing. It's the most important thing is meeting other sketchers and just being outside. Like just being
Well,
outside drawing is so important.
I will say that my class in Taos was all newcomers to my class.
Oh,
Like
that is so wonderful.
I've usually, except for the first time I did it, but even then I had people that I knew from Cincinnati. Like I've always
Hmm.
had about 50-50. Like 50% are people who've never heard of me before and just came along, took a chance. And then 50% are people who've worked with me before and wanted to do it again. This time was 100% new people,
Oh,
which
wow,
was
that's so exciting.
wild. Yeah, it was so exciting and also daunting. And because I have a bit of stranger danger. Um, but
Well,
it,
it
it
definitely
was
is an unknown quantity.
yeah, it's an unknown quantity. And I always like to be like super prepared, and I was already feeling a bit behind the power curve from just the craziness of this spring. And but yeah, it worked out great, and everybody was amazing. And I had four architects in my class.
Wow.
I know. And of course, like we're doing the little like meet and greet on day one. And I was like, well, here we are with everybody who knows how to draw better than I do. It was great.
But
It-
as you know, that's not the point at all.
exactly. Exactly. It was a real like get your head out of your butt, Amy, and just get on with the work of like figuring out what everybody wanted to do. And I did have something to offer, which that's always my go-to place of like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it, blah blah blah. And it worked great because I learned actually as much from them as they hopefully did from me, which is usually the case. And I mean, the best thing was I had a lot of people with like really cool supplies this year.
Oh,
So
nice.
like, so I've invested in a new palette system,
Hmm.
which I'm kind of excited about. It involves magnets, which is really cool. Um,
I've seen that. We got it in Asheville. We got a little pallet that connects with magnets. It's like a wood
yeah,
that was in our goodie bag, actually.
yeah. No, mine's a like I think they print it. It's this guy,
Oh,
but
nice, nice.
But the nice thing about it is the little palette spaces are like these. It's like a baked ceramic material.
Oh,
So,
interesting. So it's not plastic. It's
well, the much of it is plastic, but then there's like a ceramic material baked onto the
like an
palette
enamel
piece.
kind of thing.
Yes, kind of.
Nice.
But that way it
Hold it up again.
yeah, so that way it doesn't, like, your colors don't bead. Oops.
Oh, nice. We could put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put a link and it's great. And then it folds down into this. And
Oh.
then it has these little, I was using it. It has these little water dishes that are together, and then you pour the water out and you fold it, and that's the cover to keep it all kind
So
of
it
together.
fits in
So
those little water things.
yes.
Oh,
So,
neat.
and then on top of that, and this I learned from my friend Tracy, who was on the trip. She then keeps her spare paints in these little magnetized little tins from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can, depending on where you are, you can like have all your colors with you, but you can also switch out. Like if you want to switch something out on here, you just pop one of them out because they're magnetized. So like it's just a nice way to organize. Like you can have all your colors with you, but if you're popping out to go sketch or whatever, you don't have to have the entire big. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the less friction
Mm-hmm.
between myself and an opportunity is good. And so yeah, I'm excited I've begun kind of using it, just trying it out here in the studio, and I'm excited to take it when I go up north. So
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, it'll be nice to be up. Are you going to Vermont or to Maine as well?
yes, both. I'm going to Massachusetts to visit a friend, and then from there I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking a train ride up to Vermont, which I'm so
Oh,
excited about the
nice.
train ride. And I just feel like new art supplies, I know there's like a real balance between collecting a ton of art supplies and never using them,
Mm-hmm.
which that's not a problem for me. I'm always using my art supplies. But that said, of like not wanting to spend the money, I've already got enough paint, I already have blah, blah, blah. But sometimes, every few years or whatever, it's really nice. It's like getting a really nice new pair of jeans or a dress in
It
the
is.
closet. Like it makes you want to go out, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very inspiring. And I was so inspired in Taos. Like I had been, just with everything happening in the spring with our health and
Mm.
everything, I had been a bit just sort of like a kind of a degree of like what do you call that, freeze,
Appre-
like I
oh, okay, like apprehension almost, like
not even
or
apprehension, like I
so you
just
just
couldn't,
felt.
I couldn't do anything artistic. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
on the ready, like I was all kind of in schedules and to-dos and up in my head, and like I couldn't relax into sketching, and I was a little terrified that I was going to get to Taos and it would be a bomb. But I've been doing it long enough that I was able to get there and practice a little bit, and I sunk
And it
into
recharged your
it,
batteries, it sounds
and it
like.
completely recharged my batteries, and it reminded me how
Mm-hmm.
important it is to get
Mm-hmm.
out with other artists. Like
Oh, that is
today,
so. I mean, that's the thing about any sketching event, whether you go
yes.
to one of the trips that we have or you go to, I mean, there's so many regions in the United States now doing some really amazing trips. Before we got on, there's one in Dubuque that just happened. And then they're doing one in the Salt Lake City chapter is doing one that's like Bryce Canyon, that area.
Oh,
They're doing a
wow.
sketch meetup in November, which I can't go to, but check it out. It looks
November. Oh, will
amazing.
you put that in the chat or
I
like in
will.
the
I will.
notes?
It looks really fun. If I wasn't already committed, I would go to it
Well,
because it
Tony
looks
has a
really
birthday
fun.
in November, and that would be really
And he would probably love hiking there
cool. He would love
and
that.
all that stuff. So,
Well,
uh,
I actually have been getting to know other sketchers right in Taos, which is a tiny, tiny town, but
but
have
lots of
gotten to know
artists.
lots of artists, but not like, yes, artists, but those kind of artists, like the esteemed Taos artists, aren't exactly your go sketch together kind of. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you
nothing
mean.
nothing against that, because
Well, just
they're
different types of visual art. There's all sorts
different
of
types of
different
visual
flavors.
art, and I think there's something about just sketching for your own kind of enjoyment and
Exactly.
paying attention to the world versus like drawing from a studio practice or going out and sketching for like a future painting, or that's a different mindset or whatever. So it's just nice to meet, especially
Oh,
younger
yes.
sketchers. There's a lot of like younger kids, like Gen Z and younger millennials and whatever, who are getting into it. It just makes me so happy because
Me too.
my life wouldn't be what it is without art and music as well. Like the arts have just saved me time and time and time again from falling down into a well of despair.
Well, and
It's
I
just
think it's
such a
so important.
it's a great thing.
It's so important for young people because I think that like it's something that's mostly offline and
Yes,
you're out in the air and you're out with other people. I think that it's really important for mental health. And like
I
I tell
agree.
so many people, it has nothing to do with what you're drawing. A lot of it is like you're observing the world around you, but you're also the community. I think is really important. I mean, so
Yes.
many people um it's just a nice way to meet people and hang out with people when
Mhm.
people move. For example, if there's a chapter near them, that's a great way to meet other people in your
Great way
area.
to meet people. And like we have our friend Lonnie, um,
Yes.
who is now in
Hi, Lonnie.
Asheville. Yeah, hi Lonnie, if you're listening or watching. She's now in Asheville, and you guys were able to go down and connect with her when there was the Asheville area gathering of the
Yeah, the
sketchbook.
Carolina Sketch Crawl is what it's called,
Yeah.
and they'll
No,
be
it's
doing it next year in oh gosh, I want to say it's Charlotte, but if
okay.
I'm wrong, I'll put it in the
Might be
show notes.
Chapel.
I
Is it not Chapel Hill?
It's one of
I
the
don't even understand.
one of the Carolinas. I want to say it's Charlotte, but let me somebody's probably going to scream and say no, that's wrong, but I will put it in the show notes because they are going to have it again next year and it's a really great way
Oh, North
to
Carolina is just
yeah.
lovely.
And
And it's from here, from Cincinnati, it's not that far of a drive.
no, it's about 6 hours.
Mhm.
I would say it's a tad longer than going to Chicago, but that's one thing about Cincinnati is that we are equidistant from so many cities.
Yeah.
It's sort of a focal point. I mean, within 2 hours, you have Columbus, Indianapolis, Louisville, Lexington,
Yeah.
Dayton. I mean, there's like, and then like a little bit further out, then you have even more cities. And I think that's one thing that's nice about this area is that we can access Chicago or, North Carolina, Asheville or St. Louis, and that's not that much longer.
No, they're
You sort
great.
of,
And
or
they're
Cleveland.
so lovely. Yeah.
Yes, and so there's a lot of cities in our radius, like within a 6 hour radius. There's, then you start getting Pittsburgh, Cleveland,
Yeah.
Detroit. I
Well, not to
mean,
mention, like, I mean, I love the cities, but I'm also more of a like a country girl. Like
true, true.
I like the rural and I like the vistas. And so within 4 hours, you've got big water on Lake Erie. Like,
Yes.
you don't have to go to the ocean to get those big water vistas. And you
Hmm.
can get down to the Smokies in 6 hours. You can be down in the Red River Gorge in 2 hours. Like, so you can really get to some super majestic, not to mention Hocking Hills.
Yeah, I've
Just
been toying with
gorgeous.
the idea of maybe doing something like on Lake Michigan or something, some sort of
Mhm.
sketch thing, like sketch workshop,
Yeah,
weekend or something, because I think that it's supposed to be so pretty up there,
it's so
and
pretty up
and
there.
I think that it would be a great getaway during the summer when it gets really hot here.
Well, I will say the summer is really crowded, and
Or
we
maybe a different
rent.
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say we actually a few years ago we rented a van.
Oh yeah.
We're sort of toying around with the van
Oh
life.
yes, yes. I think that you had mentioned that before. You or
Yeah,
Tony did.
yeah. We rented this van on an app called Outdoorsy,
Mm-hmm.
which I highly recommend. Like if you want to borrow something or rent
Mm-hmm.
something and try it out, Outdoorsy is a really lovely way to connect with people who are renting their equipment or their RVs or whatever. And we met this lovely couple who had done a van build down in Louisville, outside of Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove down, left my car there, picked up their van, and we drove. Tony and I drove, and it was November. And we drove up to Michigan. Now it was cold, but it wasn't awful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really only cold at night. And then during the day, we had like the dunes to ourselves. Like it was magnificent. And we just painted the water the whole time. Like it was really, really fun, and hiked and walked. And, and some places were closed, but it was really, really fun. Yeah. So we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking
Oh,
of
that's
doing the
cool.
same thing again and maybe going down toward Carolina.
That
So
sounds really fun. Yes. And so what else do you have planned trip-wise this year? You said you're going to Maine and to
yeah, so I'm going to I usually like this time of year I usually go to a music camp for a week and then go to Maine for a week in there, and then from there often dip over to Ireland for my class. Well, this
Mhm.
year's been a crazy year, so I postponed Ireland, and next year is already I already have 5 people signed up for next year, so I'm very excited. So there are
Yay.
a few slots left in Ireland, but anyway, back to this year. I'm going to visit some people, help a friend with a hip replacement. We're at
Oh,
that
wow.
age, Christina. Yeah, and
Understood. Yes.
but that's in the same town as my kid lives in,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
right on Lake Champlain. And so I'm just going to kind of go and just take some downtime. Of course, I'm going to be sketching, so it's not really
Of
it's
course.
the
But
best kind of downtime. Yeah,
exactly.
so that's what I'm doing,
No
and then we'll go
stakes. You're
over to
just experimenting.
exactly, and then we'll go over to Maine for the the annual family vacation, and then I'll be back
Nice.
in August. So
That sounds awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
What
heading
about
off
you?
to Chicago next week, and I'm
Hmm.
teaching a gouache workshop at the Chicago Seminar, which is I highly recommend it. Every summer they have a I would say sort of it's a sketch gathering that sells out really fast. So if you want to sign up for next year, you need to be poised. Chicago and a couple other ones sell out really, really quickly. I
Now,
think because
does
Chicago has been a
Ohio? We have ours this year, right?
yes, ours is in August and it is sold out. It just sold out. I wasn't pushing
Right?
it because I wanted to let it we could have pushed it to sell out earlier, but we discussed it and we wanted people to organically come to it and not like because some people might decide 2 months down the line, oh my gosh, I'd love to go to that, and everything's sold out. So, but it just sold out. So that's really exciting. And then after I go to Chicago, I'm going to Toulouse for the Urban Sketchers Symposium, which this is my, I think, fifth one.
Hmm.
And it is a really the only I bought a ton of sundresses because it's going to be really warm in Toulouse. It's really warm here right now, actually, too.
Yeah, yeah.
And but one thing I decided to do, I have a few days after the symposium finishes, and a friend of mine convinced me to do snorkel sketching, which is the first thing I've ever done where you sketch underwater. And so I just bought my fins. I have my fins here. If you're not listening and you're watching, I have my fins and my mask, and I've got paper that's sort of coated so it's water resistant. And in our
Do you have like oil pen or oil pencils?
what I'm using is we got in our goodie bags for the summit last year. Chart Pack sent us these wonderful color pencils that are no wood. It's all a color stick, and
Hmm.
that's perfect because the salt
And
water won't bother.
are they like a
Yeah,
wax?
they have a wax in them, and so they will be perfect for drawing.
Have you
I got
have you done an underwater test of them?
No, not yet. I've been getting a lot of advice from friends of mine that have done this, and they've been sending my setup. And there's actually a blog. There's a woman named Nina who's actually going to be teaching a workshop at in Toulouse, and she has a blog telling you what she uses when she does sketching underwater. And
I have never heard of this
I will put a
company.
link so that everybody can look at it. And she asked me what I was planning to take, and I thought these color pencils and the paper would probably be adequate because you don't want. And I have them. I bought these really thick rubber bands, and we're going to clamp them together so that, like, I can have 4 pencils tethered to me because you don't
Yeah,
want stuff floating away. So you
no,
kind of have
exactly.
bands on stuff so that because you don't want the stuff to become trash in the
Yes.
ocean either. So you want everything kind of tethered to you so it doesn't get away. I got an SPF 50 shirt to keep from getting sunburnt because, you
Do you
know,
have your Dramamine?
I don't ever get motion sickness, thank goodness.
Oh,
So
yeah. I just don't think I could. I have to.
I'll send video and picture.
That's
I'll
going
send
to
you a
be
bunch of stuff.
amazing.
It's
I
it's going to
can't wait.
be
Our next chat. I
yes.
want to hear
It's going to.
all
I'll see
about
if I have video I can share and stuff. And then
it.
I'm going kayaking a few days later because I just wouldn't because it's so hot over there. My
Yeah.
my friend she did some because I was thinking about going to Bordeaux, and then when I saw she was going to the seaside, which is like 2 hours from Toulouse, I was like, that's really where I need to be when it's this hot.
Well, and I have sketched on the kayak before.
And
And
how was it? How hard was it? I was thinking I would.
it depends on what, how rough your water is, because you're going to
Hmm.
be spending a lot of time just kind of balancing. But if you're on mild water, it is so relaxing.
I mean, I'll
It,
probably use the same materials I'm going to sketch underwater for that because stuff that can get wet.
oh, see, I just took my watercolors.
Well, that might work too. I mean, I
Yeah.
have my water brush and stuff, but I might just play around in watercolor pencils. And, I mean, I try to, the thing with any sort of water endeavor, especially if you're under the sea, is I'm not going to like take a good sketchbook on the water. I bought one of those Lucetti sketchbooks that they're pretty amazing. They lay flat.
Yeah.
Their advertising thing is that they lay perfectly flat, and they have
Huh.
really wonderful thick multimedia paper, and
You'll have
that's
to
going to
put
be.
those in the notes of
I
the.
will, and actually, they donated some sketchbooks to the Ohio Summit too for the
Have
raffle.
Have you seen I've seen some videos recently of a person with a really good, sort of nice, big, long piece of really solid watercolor paper. And then they get on like the rack line of where the water comes,
Uh huh.
like the waves come in, and they're using like eco-friendly like inks and things, and they'll dribble down some water and lay it down on the sand, and the waves will come
Oh,
and
I've not
like
seen that. Do you have a link?
I've seen it on Instagram, so if I find it, I'll send
Yeah,
it to you,
please
and we
do.
can
I'd
put it
love
in
to
the
see it.
notes. But it's fascinating. Like this person is just letting the gentle wave, like these aren't crashing waves; these are just like gentle waves, which could happen in fresh water, or salt water,
Hmm.
and letting the waves leave lines, and that could be a really
That's really
kind of an
neat. I
interesting,
love that
yeah,
idea.
an interesting way to begin like a landscape painting, because you're going to be
Us
getting
talking
these.
about it, I'll probably start getting stuff in my feed
Oh,
because
I
I've been.
know. Instagram's always listening.
Well,
The overlords.
my next book that I'm illustrating is about Swiss culture, and it's a Swiss musician. And ever since I've started sketching on it in my feed, I'm getting all these wonderful videos of yodeling feeds, like in
Yodeling,
yodeling
yeah.
festivals. And it's been really wonderful. I've been saving all of them because I know that these will be wonderful reference as I paint the final thing. And it's
Yeah.
just really neat. I did, people playing those Swiss horns, the really long
Yep.
ones. And
Yeah,
it's
I
just,
just was asking my mom the other day, and I think I have it written here. We have family from Einzelleden,
oh,
Einzelleden, Schwitz. It's in it's in Switzerland.
do you know what city it's close to? Zurich or Bern or
It's
Geneva?
about a 2-hour train ride from Zurich, so it's in the back
Okay,
of
okay.
beyond, but it's in the
That's really cool.
German speaking Swiss. So it's been kind of on my radar to like get over there and
Oh, you
just
should.
see like where people came from and whatnot.
It would be
So
great if you could actually meet up with family there too.
yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I haven't heard anything from the genetics people or whatever, but we do. Like my grandfather's family was from there. So most of my great grandparents were from like either all in Ireland, or the one set was from Switzerland.
Oh,
So
that's, I mean,
it'd
that's
be
a
cool
place
to.
to
I've
go.
been bopping around Ireland, and I feel like I'm at home, and I wonder if that same feeling would be
Sure.
in Switzerland. So
I
that'd
mean,
be kind
that
of cool.
seems like Switzerland is so beautiful with the mountains and
Oh, I know.
I mean, I've been there once for a few days and I really loved it. And maybe sometime I'll go back. I know Geneva is actually very close to, and they suggest you can even fly in there for when I go to the rendezvous. And I'm not even going to say it because I cannot pronounce it, but it's the sketchbook festival that they have in
Oh,
Claremont.
wow.
And that's what I was just posting about yesterday, that I'm going to be taking my travelogues there in
Yeah.
November. And one of the places they suggest flying into is Geneva, but I haven't decided which is better. I'm still looking at the
It
logistics
might
of
be
where I'm
kind of
flying
cool
in.
to fly in somewhere else and then take a train, because they have such wonderful public transit there. And
Hmm.
I just think a train ride is just the best thing. And you could sketch the mountains and all that. So,
Although I have to say, for in France, I'm renting a car
are
after
you?
the symposium, just because you know we're going to a couple different places, and both the hotels I'm staying at have parking lots, and France is, and this is true of a lot of Europe. You've been in Ireland. A lot of times public transportation doesn't go everywhere. So if you have a wild
You
hair
want
to
to go
go
someplace
someplace, yeah,
specific. Yeah.
and it's not a bad place to drive. I mean, I really like driving through the
Well, at least
fields
they stay on the same side of the road as we do here.
yes, I mean,
Like
I didn't find
in
it that difficult at
Scotland,
all to
England, and Ireland,
that's
it's
totally
opposite.
different. Yeah. I don't know if I'd feel I have friends that I don't know if have you rented a car when you were in Ireland?
Oh yeah, I love it.
And so how hard was it for you to adapt?
You just have to you have to be fully present. You have to think left is
Don't check
right
out.
and right is wrong. That's our mantra. Left is right and right is wrong. So like anytime you try to like do an automatic, you have to like stop and go left is right, right is wrong. And
I
then
mean, a lot of these new cars beep a lot if you get close to anything, which I think is wonderful because
yeah, but they wouldn't beep at you if you were just turning the wrong direction into
well, that's true. That's
oncoming
true.
traffic.
But when we were, I didn't drive at all, but when I was in Sicily and we were scouting for the Sicily trip in 2027, Lisa rented a car and it was so nice that it would beep if we got too close to anything because some of those places are so tight. It's nice to
Yeah.
know where you kind of are in the car.
In
lets
Ireland,
you
they
know.
just make you buy extra insurance because it doesn't matter. Like some of those little lanes are so like if you're
There's
gonna
just nothing.
pass if you're gonna pass a car, you're gonna scrape the side of the car. Like
Mhm.
that's just how it's gonna
Yeah,
go.
a little travel advice if you rent a car abroad, you have to get the
Get
insurance
extra
through the
insurance.
insurance company because your insurance in the States won't cover it. And even though travel insurance covers, I think my travel insurance covers up to $35,000 or
They're
something.
better with the travel insurance is really good for medical.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
if
mean,
you've got decent health insurance and you get travel insurance, you're usually covered for anything like if you get sick or fall
But-
down or whatever. But for
yeah,
cars,
the amount
I
of
would
cars,
suggest-
the car stuff I mean, the car stuff that your insurance covers is probably not enough. It's better just to
Right.
use their insurance. And then if there was something over that, that's what your travel insurance would cover.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, God forbid, like that you, and I mean, anytime there's a risk that you travel, I mean, anytime you drive here, there's a risk. But my mom used to do a lot of travel for her work, and some of her colleagues, I believe they were in England somewhere, and they were, again, because you're on the wrong side of the road or whatever, they had a pretty bad car wreck where 4 people died.
Wow.
And yeah, that's a pretty extreme example, and it's unlikely but possible. And that's
yeah,
where
it's always possible.
$35,000 is nothing, even though their insurance is different with health and stuff. Like if you have more than one car involved, I mean, in the US, most cars cost over $35,000. So
Yeah.
when you start thinking about how much stuff costs and everything,
Yeah.
you're
It's
best to just
easier
use the.
to spend an extra 100 or two.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than the alternative. And like you said, I actually, my sister-in-law had a friend that went to Ireland a few years ago, and they scraped the car, and she had paid for it with debit card, and they just drained her account paying for the damage.
Wow.
So another reason to get that insurance, because they don't even ask you. They just say, okay, we're going to take $2,000 out or whatever, 2,000 euro or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's a shame.
And it wasn't, I mean, it probably is in the fine print when you pick up those cars.
Oh,
but
it's always in the fine print.
I know it's but like you said, get
The
pay
fine
that
print
extra
that no one reads.
pay that extra $100. And I mean, usually when
Yeah.
you get a rental car in the US, your car insurance covers it,
Yeah.
but not so much in other countries.
Not overseas for sure.
You know.
So you're going to Toulouse and you're going
Yes.
swimming and sketching.
And
then
Collier, I don't know how you pronounce it. And then I'm going to Sete, and then we're kayaking there and sketching. I mean,
Nice.
sketching will be everywhere.
How long will you be away?
I get home the 28th. I get back to Cincinnati the 28th. So that'll
So
be
when
fun.
do you leave?
I leave the 9th. So
Okay,
you
so
said you're
that's
leaving
a
the
long-
5th, right? So you're leaving.
I'm leaving July 5th and I won't
Yes.
be back till August 6th.
So you'll be gone longer. I'm leaving the 9th and coming back the 28th.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then
I'll be gone for about I think it's almost 5 weeks.
our
but-
summit is the first weekend is going to be the first weekend in August, and that's going to be really exciting because I've never really gotten a chance to sketch in Cleveland before.
Mhm.
So I'm super excited. It's a beautiful city.
So sad.
Yeah,
to miss
I mean,
that.
we visit Cleveland a lot because Troy has a best friend there. But
Mm-hmm.
as with any time you visit friends, he doesn't live in the city. I mean, we're
Right.
in the suburbs, and we don't
No,
leave
Cleveland's
the suburbs.
beautiful. Yeah, Cleveland's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that lakefront, which is like being ocean, like you said, like being the ocean, and you see I mean, it should be very exciting to sketch there.
Yeah,
And as I said,
absolutely.
I think it's sold out now. So it's just now we're doing the last minute logistics of planning anything. Same like that with the symposium too. It's all the
Yeah.
last minute logistics and
Now,
social media stuff.
how are your classes doing for next year? Because I've got great news in my department on that front.
I think that I mean, I think for Sicily, I think we're going to sell out on that. A lot of people have said they're going to come, so that's really great. I'm
Great.
excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
we're
are you sold out with
basically
everything?
sold out with Guatemala.
Excellent.
We're doing a third, like not quite a week, but like a little smaller
Oh,
trip
is that the one that
um,
goes to the lake?
to the lake. And we've
Oh,
got like 4 slots left in that.
ooh, that sounds amazing. That's
Yeah,
so
and we
great.
were going to limit that to people who had been on the trip before or had come this year and wanted to stay on. But, it's just working out that we've got the space. So I'm kind of opening it up to anybody. They just need to come like a couple days early.
Oh,
So
that's
we don't have to
exciting.
wait for them. Yeah. So that's
And is
exciting.
Taos sold out then too?
For next year, no, but I've already got, like, I only just opened registration. I've already got like 4 people. So,
Excellent, excellent. So
yeah.
that's great. I mean, I think that
Yeah,
there's
and
things.
then Ireland is already booking up. So I
Hmm.
already have 5 paid people on that one. So
That's great. I mean, and so yeah, I think I've got uh, a lot of interest in Sicily, so I think that we should be getting the deposits on that pretty soon,
great.
and I'm excited about it because I think it's going to do really well. And again, these trips that we do, we try to keep them pretty small. Like anything over like 10 or 11 starts to get
Yeah.
too many.
House we do just because of the way things are at the Maple Dodge house. I have to have like 13 or 14 people
Hmm.
to kind of make ends meet for the Maple Dodge house. But that one is classroom based. Like we
Hmm.
do go out and about, especially out on Mabel's campus, but it's not like going to a city and popping a squat on a corner and drawing buildings.
Yes.
Not like that. It's a lot more like demos on kind of like formulaic ways to do clouds and trees, and it's there's a lot of basics going on, and also a lot of like what I call kind of drawing triage. Like someone will do a sketch and then they'll come to me and we'll work together to make it a more satisfying sketch for them.
That's really great. And
Just
they have a great
kind of
classroom there too.
they do have their beautiful classroom, and you have to mitigate like being out in the sun and then also being safe. Like there's back and forth, but I feel like one of my strong suits as a teacher is like
Hmm.
spotting what could make a drawing just that much more satisfying to the person who made it. Because we all get those drawings where we're like, something's not working for me. What is it? And sometimes it takes that other pair of
Oh
eyes.
yeah, that really helps. Like if there's something you're
It
trying to get.
does. Because somebody could be like, oh, you missed this little shadow here or whatever. And you'd be like, oh gosh, I didn't even see that. So we
Well,
do a lot of that.
there's
Yeah.
something very myopic when you look at your own work that
Yeah.
like sometimes if there's something I have questions about, I find that if I sleep on it and look at it fresh,
You know what I
that
find
helps
is
so
if I
much.
take a photo with my phone.
Oh, that helps a lot too because it kind
Yeah.
of
It flattens it.
interprets some things and you're like, oh, that needs to be fixed. Yeah, it brings your eye to different
Because our
things.
eyes are trained on these digital machines. They're trained on
Yes.
the phone, they're trained on the iPad. So when you have like a drawing that's in the flesh in a book, it might look a little off on things. And then if you're just sitting there at say an urban sketchers thing and you're like, something's off, I can't figure out what it is, get your phone out and take a photo of your drawing and then look at the phone. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to spot it immediately. You're going to go, oh,
Yes.
that angle is off, and that is throwing the whole thing off. Or I should have put a shadow under that tree or whatever. And you'll see it. You won't be able to see it right away in your own drawing, but you'll see it on the phone, and then you can attack it in your drawing.
That's true. Sometimes I rescan stuff after I scan it because I'll be like, oh, this looks. And one thing though that the scanner and the phone do too is they're interpreting. They kind of cut down the colors that you can see.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we post these, but your eye sees a lot more colors than the RGB gamut sees. And then of course when you cut it down to printing, there's a lot fewer colors in the CMYK gamut as well. And so
Well,
that's always a
that's
challenge.
you're you're talking industry talk, which is
I
outside of the
know, I
scope
know,
of
I
my
know.
understanding.
Too many years of doing stuff for print and that sort of thing. But it's just, it kind of explains why, like, a lot of paint colors, it's really hard to see how beautiful they are when they're scanned, because the
Mhm.
scanner or your phone can't see. Like, I
Speaking of
love metallic
which,
paints and
I
stuff like that.
can't remember if the last time we talked, if I had been to the Dayton Art Museum. Did I talk about that at our last chat?
What was the exhibit?
It was Tony Foster. These
Yes, you
really
did
large
talk
scale.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one where like you look at his work online and it's beautiful,
But
but but when you see it in person, it is stunning. Like it's amazing what he does. And his palette is no bigger than this little palette.
oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I think he has 12 colors maybe that he
Well,
uses.
and I think that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of richness to the pigments, and
Mhm.
because like, for watercolor, for example, where you get like that lovely granular stuff, that's because of
Yeah,
the stuff that they make the pigments out of, a lot of different types of minerals and rocks and stuff. And sometimes
yeah,
the subtleties of those are very, very hard to photograph and scan. Like, it
they
looks
are.
gorgeous in person, and
Yeah.
then
I
what
often
you're
say that my best work is often trapped in a book.
it's really true, because the way that the camera sees it, sort of, I mean, it's just less, it's sort of like when you think of Plato in the shadows of the wall kind of thing.
Yeah,
The original, when you see the real paint and you see the texture and stuff, it
yeah.
really, there's no way to show that.
Well, and I will say, like, one of the things that was like a big hit and always is with any of my workshops is we just do like swatches a lot.
Oh, yes,
We'll
yes.
spend like sometimes that just warming up with doing sort of color matching swatches from like the environment that you're in.
Hmm.
And sometimes doing a whole page of those swatches can be just the most meditative, soothing. Like it takes the pressure off of like having to draw
Hmm.
and just like sitting around and mixing paint. And I don't know about you, but I have not been feeling like going outside to sketch. So I've been like going back and
It's a
working
thousand
from,
degrees.
yeah, it's very, very, for any of you who are listening from away, it is literally almost 100 degrees, has been for days here. So it's, and that's like the heat index is more like 110. So
Oh,
it's
yes.
very, very dangerously hot outside. So I've been finding myself just kind of working from photos and like just playing in my new paint setup and that can be enough. Like, in the busyness of like a lot of people have kids home from school now, or you've got appointments and things are there. It's differently busy in the summer as it is in like throughout the school year. And but even just to take a little bit of time at your desk and like play with your colors and see what kinds of crazy things they do if you mix unexpected colors, and then like just take little notes and fill your book up with little squares and circles
That's
of
it's a
paint.
great idea to meditate and to get used to what the colors do. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm teaching a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't
gouache
think that
classes.
yeah, I think that like, it feels almost like a quote unquote waste of time to do those, but I don't
Hmm.
think it is at all. I think anytime you're opening up your paints and figuring out what they're doing, even if you're not like, I'm not a big like, oh, two parts this and three parts that. Like that's not how I roll. I'm very
Mm-mm.
sort of intuitive about the
That's
paints.
how
I
I
sort
am
of
too. I just mix the colors and kind
yeah, I
of
just
play
mix the
around.
colors and I know where they are and I know what they do. Now, of course, when I'm teaching, I find myself needing to explain what they do, and I can do that. But like when I'm just really trying to get into the flow, you just begin making squares or circles or whatever, little
Hmm.
marks. And that Tony Foster had those on the side of his paintings, which I
Yes,
found
yes. I remember you talking about
endlessly
that, and that is
fascinating.
so cool. And that actually is, I'm thinking, I'm teaching a gouache class next week, as I said, in Chicago. And I often have people start doing a gradient just to get used to the feel of the paint.
Yeah,
Because the thing about gouache is that it feels different than watercolor, because it's additive. You don't have to leave white spots. You can do that
right.
highlight in the white. But a lot of people, it's really frustrating at first because it doesn't work like normal watercolor.
Right.
And so I have them do a gradient and like some exercises first to get used to painting and shading with it a little bit
Well,
before
and to
we
get
leap
that
into a.
right consistency for gouache, it has to be kind of almost a little bit like between melty butter and
Yeah, I always
cream.
say potato soup.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good,
it's like
although
a like it's a little bit
like a
because
bisque.
you want it and
It's got to be like a bisque.
yeah, because you want it to have that solid color, and but you can work in it translucently, but it's a mix like anything, and you have to play with it to get used to how it feels. And so I try. People can get really frustrated, and fortunately, I did a couple things workshops through my Patreon first to hone the class, because when I
Yeah,
just threw people into paint, it stressed them out because the paint wasn't working like they were supposed to. So I've got
yeah.
them, and it's working the way it's supposed to, but it's not working the way that you expect it to. And so
Yeah.
that you have to
Well,
kind of get
and
used to
even
playing with
just
it.
yeah, even just getting people to make that right consistency is important.
Yeah,
Like that, and that's
exactly.
hard. You could spend an hour doing that. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
totally.
tricky.
And so I think it's really smart. And actually, your mention about swatches makes me think, well, maybe we should do some swatches too, because that's not a bad idea to get used to color, like mixing the
Yeah.
color, because you don't want it to
I
be
did I
too
ever tell
thin.
you about, I don't know when you were in the design studios at DAP,
A
but
long time ago.
some of the art, me too, some of the art classes happen up where the design kids are doing their basic stuff. And one of
Mhm.
the lockers up on that like fourth or fifth floor in the DAP building
Uh-huh.
had somebody had written in like Sharpie or something that said gouache is liquid hell.
Well, it was interesting because one of the people in my class in Asheville had just gone to design school, and he said they still use gouache because we
Yeah,
had to do like gradations with white to black, and they had to be perfect gradations, and you couldn't have any
yeah.
streaks in it or anything. And that's really hard.
It's really
And
hard. Yeah.
they
Liquid
still do it.
hell.
Yes, it was, and I learned gouache in college because that was the way before markers. If you were designing a restaurant interior or cars or whatever, they did gouache rendering. Sid Mead,
Oh, wow.
who did all the concept art for Blade Runner, and he was well known for his gouache futurism paintings. I mean, that's
Cool.
how they used to do. The guy that did the concept art for Star Wars, it was all done in gouache. And I
Yeah.
think gouache was popular because it photographs really well. It's perfectly flat,
Yeah.
cameras love it, and I think that's why it's popular. And then when markers came out, people started using markers, and markers are great. I'm not sure, there's been a lot of markers lately for urban sketching, and I'm curious how archival they are, because most of the markers I used in school have faded really bad. Like
Yeah.
they weren't made. I mean, most of these commercial art supplies like the Luma dyes and stuff like that were not made to last, so
Right.
those materials fade
You know the
significantly.
artist Lena Revo? Do you
That
follow her
name
work?
sounds familiar. I don't know if I follow her.
She's a gouache. Like I found her through gouache
Hmm.
art. She also does a lot of beautiful work in pastels and whatnot, but her gouache paintings are so
I'll look her
filled
up.
with
We'll put her in
filled
the
with
show notes so everybody
yeah,
can.
filled with light. I mean, she just has such a gorgeous sense of value.
Hmm.
She can make things really glow, and
Hmm.
that's a real skill. So,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love like playing with light and painting, and backlit stuff. I mean, it's
yeah.
it's sort of a staple. I love stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's good to look at stuff like that you admire too when you're breaking in new materials and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
but
actually I've started an embroidery landscape just for the summer.
I love that.
So to have something kind of in my bag that's not necessarily sketching, that I can just be kind of, working on. So I'll bring that to the next meeting. Hopefully
Oh,
it'll
I would
be
love to see it. Yeah, I
yeah.
admire people that do that. I have not. I think it's so beautiful, and I don't do it.
I actually go through phases because to me it's just another form of painting. It's just
It
painting.
is. It is. You're mixing
Um,
colors, and it's just a different medium.
yeah, exactly. But I've done everything from like a 4 foot long whale that I did at one point, all the way down to like tiny little. I think I did like an R2D2 pendant for the
Oh,
Star
yes, I
Wars
remember
show.
that. That was
Yeah,
so
the
cool.
little, real tiny little things. So, yeah, it's fun to have the needles back in my hand, and it's fun
Oh,
to have
that's so
new
cool.
color mixtures to play with, and like
Yeah.
be feeling re-inspired thanks to my class. I just they were
That's
amazing.
what I mean. Students always inspire us when we teach
Oh,
classes.
so it was so good. I'm so grateful. And I just can't believe like it's I'm getting a lot of traffic. I even just was fielding an email before I hopped on
Oh,
here from
nice, nice.
somebody else who wants to come to Taos. So
That's so
definitely,
exciting.
yeah, definitely get in there, kids. Get on those courses because they're so much fun. They're so inspiring.
And on
Yeah.
that note, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, this has been a lovely chat. I can't wait to see your underwater drawings. I'm
I
so
know,
intrigued.
I know.
I would be
I will.
I would be so seasick if I tried to like swim and draw underwater. Like I don't think I could do. I'm not sure I could do both.
Well, we'll try
So
to record in August and we'll share our
yeah, I would love
adventures.
that. Like later in August, that'd be
Yeah, that
wonderful.
sounds wonderful. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you in
Yeah, good to
August.
see you all. Bye.
Bye.